Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So, so this is the questionnaire that they have used to collect, and let me show because I will tell you, I will show you the data and also, and I will show you that there is a big gap that you have to fulfill before you analyze. So, as we know that anytime you design a survey, you need to develop a questionnaire. And this is probably one of the few standardized questionnaire that is used around the world, not just Bangladesh. Very similar survey exists everywhere in the world. So they use very similar questionnaire, not exactly same. So first one is the PSU number. So I remember telling you in the last class they have cluster sampling. So PSU each cluster. So the PSU is nothing but the cluster number. So if the PSU is same, that means these households were collected from the same area. So it's like a physical cluster. Then this is the team number, which is the team number they use to collect the data. So that is like your ID. So from there they get the team number. Then they have the term, and this is the household number. So term, I'm not sure what it is. Probably we'll check the data. And the household number is the household identity. All the identities are 3-digit, maximum 3-digit identities. So it means each PSU will have less than, it's about 120, 720 somewhere, but more or less similar. We'll show you this. So they have to fill it out. That's standard. Even if you design a questionnaire, that's you remember. And this is the first page. Then they have what is called division, and they have a division code. They have a name of the division. So which means that those who are filling out, they will, nowadays it's easier. It's all next series 2022. The questionnaire is not hand filled. This is hand filled questionnaire. So someone did it, but nowadays it is all driven by Google Form or similar software. The CS Pro is the most popular one. So CS Pro is the software that they use, but Bangladesh, being smart, they didn't want to use free data set, and obviously free data set because the data is collected outside Bangladesh. So Bangladesh, in Bangladesh case, I'm not sure whether the server is in Bangladesh, but I believe server is in Bangladesh, which means all the data collected stays within Bangladesh in this particular case. Okay, so when country collect the data, they have to be very sensitive where the data is going. Division code, and I will show you the division code. Then they have the district code. Each 64 district have a code. Then they have a Thana code, which means each Thana has a code. They have a union code. Each union and ward has a code. They have Mauza or Mohalla code. Each one has a code. And then they have a code which is known as rural PSA and city corporation. If it is 1, it's a rural area. If it is 2, it is an urban area. And if it is 3, it's a metropolitan area. Now this blue letters are my imprint, which means the question I never had it, but I have collected it because we need that. And then they have the facility. Remember, female facilitator. Who is the female facilitator? Who is the interviewer? Who is the supervisor? That's the first page. So normally they keep this first page separate. And then if you go to the questionnaire, they have many modules. So remember, designing questionnaire is not just asking questionnaire. A good questionnaire design requires that you think about as a stage. What does it mean at a stage? That you collect information at using different parts. So they have the first part, which is module 1, and this part is household information roster. To understand the word roster, roster is used for routine duties of employees. Let's say who is in the morning, who is in the afternoon, things like that is a routine. So that's what they have done. They've collected it. Then they have a second module, which is education, which means when they're asking this question and when they're asking this question, they're separate questions. Within this roster, now module 1, they have 3 sections, A, B, and C. In A part, now in most cases, each of these are 1 page, in most cases. So first part is household information with disability. That's the page 1. Then the second page, you have employment information, means who is employed where, that's the page 2. And then social safety net program, which is 3 to 4. Now, why they have put social safety net? Because they thought that this should be known from the household roster, because safety net is given to the individuals, may not be to the house. What I mean, that a girl in the house may be getting a scholarship, and old person in the house may getting a social safety net program like Vidhava Bhata. So within household people get it. That's why it's an individual issue rather than household issue. Which means within household there are also individuals. They collect roster information which is all individual related. Then they have education which is also individual related. Which is part A is literacy and education attainment, how much they have studies. And part B is current enrollment. Who are the students now? So this is part B related to students in the household, and part A related to the education and attainment of the people who are not students currently. But what is his or her education? That's what it means. Then they have a health module, and in the health module they have illness and injuries, will go inside. They have the economic activities and wage employment module. Remember, it is household income and expenditure, which means they're trying to collect as much as possible information. So and they're basically targeting GDP estimation. Remember, in the last class we talked about it, the GDP information, and they're trying to collect the second one, which is the information on poverty. So these are the two issues they're looking at. So they have the health issues, then they have economic activities, wage and employment. Now remember, this is the difference between, this is individual, this is other wages within the household, who is activities where, and this is the income earning activities they have. So this is where they did not talk about income, this is where they talk about where they're working, but this is where they ask how much you are earning. And wage employment. Wage employment means non-wage income are never asked here. So there are wage income in the household and there are non-wage income. Non-wage income like my renting my apartment, I have a shop, I have agriculture field. These are non-wage income. So remember in the HIE, in the economic module household and farm, we said household earn 4 types of income. One is wage, one is rent, one is interest, and one is profit or loss. So this is the wage income. That's what they're asking. So they have page 12 to 13, and they have 3 pages on injuries. So injuries has a lot of issues. They have 3 pages on education. Then they have economic activities, non-agriculture enterprise. So they talked about enterprise. Remember, agriculture is an enterprise and non-agriculture enterprise. In other words, if I have a shop, if I am running a restaurant, if I have a mechanic shops, things like that, non-agriculture, that data is collected here in this module. Then they have a housing module. What type of house they have, whether it's electrified, whether it has internet, whether it has phone, whether it has water supply, what kind of roof is there, what kind of wall is there. So these are information about the household. And they have shocks and coping. This is a new information set. Previously, probably in the last survey they had, 2010, that's it. And this is where they want the shocks, which means they want to, you will be able to find out how many people in the whole Bangla, remember this is 46,000 people. Of them, there are 178,000 individuals within 46,000 people. Remember in the last class we talked about it. And the question is that whether this family experienced a gap in the house, whether it has experienced cyclone, disasters, so that you can identify which household had disaster and what was the impact on their household. So you can separate household based on disaster. You can separate household based on death of a income earning person. And you can compare them with the household who did not lose but the similar household and say that what happens if father dies. Questions like this you can analyze based on these. That's why the modules are created, so that researchers can think about. So on almost everywhere people would think about, we can find out research issues. And then they have this one, which is agriculture. Agriculture basically means labor, and this is where the agriculture is elaborate questionnaire. Let me increase this font. They had land holding, they had crop production, which crop, how much land, what kind of land, rented, not rented, leased, things like that. Non-crop activities, which includes agriculture but not crop, maybe livestock. They have livestock products. This is livestock and poultry, livestock products, fish farming, farm industry. So they have all this information on this. So the first one is land, second one is crop, this is non-crop, which is basically livestock, poultry, dairy and fisheries. Then they have expenses of inputs. So what was their revenue and what is the expenses, and then they have agriculture asset, how much asset they have. So that information is available for 46,000 people. Then they have other assets, which is at the household level, other properties in the household, gold, furniture, vehicles, something like that. Other income in the households, whether remittance income, things like the remittance is separate here. This could be somebody lending money, things like that. That's possible. Interest, things like microcredit, whether you have taken borrowed money or not, that is there. Migration and remittance is there. So this is all other assets. And then they have consumption expenditure for day 1, day 2, day 7 and day 8 to day 14. So it means 2 weeks they are collecting this information from day 1 to day 14. And the daily consumption data they have collected on many items. We will show that items. So that's what they do. And they have weekly consumption item also separate. Part B. Remember, part A goes from day 1 to day 14. Part B only 2 weeks. First day and 7th day. Because it's like the each week. So that's what the weekly expenditure. And then they have consumptions, weekly consumption, which is, so some of the items are weekly, and these are the items which is weekly consumption, means 8 and 14. So remember, on the 8th day and on the 14th day they collect certain information. They have monthly expenditure, non-food, so clothing and other things, remember people, or education, things like that are separate. Annual non-food expenditure, transportation and many other things. Then you have inventory of consumer durables. What are the consumer durables people? So this is all the questionnaire that we are looking for. If you want to see the questionnaire, you should know the structure. So always look at this place. This one, for example, let's see, I don't have my pen here, that's a problem. I forgot to bring it. But I'm using my cursor. Section 1, so remember this one. Part A, that's the second question to think about it. Then you have 1, 2, column number. So you realize that each question is designed with, so each page, whenever you go to a page, you'll find out the page. Let me reduce the size. Just a second. When you go to a page, it will tell you what is the question. So how many questions you have. So these are the questions. You have 17 questions in this page. This is roster. Remember the roster. So this is section 1 and this is part A. So, and then the way the questions are designed, I'm raising the size so that you can see it. So they have question on the sex and they said 1 and 2, which means if this is 1, this one person 1 is a male. If this is 2, the person 2 is a female. So realize what they do actually. They collect this information, and that's the information they collect right here. That's what they do. And this is the response ID code. Response ID code basically It's the ID code of the person who is doing it. This is how to do it. And then the next question is relationship of members with head of household. Means whoever is here, what is his relationship with the head of the household? And they have 1 to 14 different, what we call, code. So if it is 1, he is himself or herself is the head. If it is 2, if it is male, is the husband of the household head. If it is 2, if it is here 2 means female, then it is husband. If this is 2, and if this is 1, then, and here it is 2, that means it is the wife, because by gender we know whether it's husband and wife. So they did not give one code for son and one code for daughter, because we have the gender separate. That's what they have done. So they have all this relationship, and remember that includes servants in the house, other employees in the house. So the house includes all of them. Okay, even mother-in-law, father-in-law living with them, even niece, nephews living with them. Okay, everybody is, or any other relative living in your house is part of the house. So okay, that's what they are not saying. This is why they are not, as they are avoiding the word family, they are using the word house. And for each person, they are collecting their age, and they say write age in numbers, which means, and they say put 0 if it is less than 1 year. Okay, so that is however they do it. In other words, if it is 12 months, that's 1. If it is 8 months, they put 0. That means this person is less than 1. Full numbers means if it is 1.2, 1.3, is still 1. So that's what it is. Religion. So they have 5 religions. They collect information by religion for each person. Obviously, each household there will be 1 religion, but this could be the same questionnaire used for other households. So that's why the religion code is there. And again, we mentioned probably in several other courses that which one is 1, which one is 2 really doesn't matter. Just give them. Okay, any code. These are categorical numbers. So remember the question here, in most cases they fill up the numbers, not the data. Codes are separate. Marital status, again this is the marital status, this is the question. So they say currently married, but if it is 2, never married, then they say go to question number 7, which means don't ask the next question. Go to this question. So see, never married means don't ask the question. So Q7, which means if your response here is 2, then go to this question. So remember, in marital status, standard questionnaire is married, never married, widowed, divorced, separated. So remember this. These are different categories. And this is bigger than 10 years old only. So they will ask only if your age is above 10. Then they will ask this question. Otherwise, they will not ask this. But remember, there are still many child marriage exist. So they're just collecting the data. Okay. So that's what they're doing. So this is what they do. If ever married, so this is, remember, if it is 1 or 3 or 4 or 5, if it is divorced, if it is widowed, if it is separated or married, then the question, if ever married, that means married, age at the first marriage. They are not asking whether this is your second or third. They are saying, what was the age of your first marriage? That's how actually we trace or track child marriage. So that's why they are asking all these questions are designed with different things in the mind. Why am I going through this with you? Because that should give you an information what is available and what is not available. So in other words, what type of data you would expect from this kind of a survey. That's what I'm looking for. Earner. So you know, by individual, who is the earner? If it is 1, that means he or she is an earner. If it is 2, is not an earner. So this is information. Whether name, that means this person who are looking at number 1, number 2, number 3, whether he or she was returned from abroad. So you can see migration stories are there. And they're also asking, if you're returning from abroad, what was the reason? Okay, so that's what they're asking here. Why did the person, the name of the person, return to household from abroad? Either they lose the job or due to illness, end of absence. So remember, can actually people who has returned, and you can actually analyze and see why these people return and who are they. So you can actually get into the information because this information is available from 48,000 households. Whether the person has a mobile, so this is by individual. So if it is mobile, yes and no. And if it is no, don't ask the next question. Go to the next question. 12, Q12 means don't ask 11. Go to the 12. That's how the reason I'm pushing it just for you to understand how they design the question here. They say yes and no. If it is no, go to the 12. If it is yes, they're asking why are you using this mobile? Communication, getting information, transferring money, access to internet. I'm not sure. Main use, they're asking one use, which means what is your major use for the mobile? So that is one question they're asking. And if you have a mobile, if you're not having a mobile, go to the next question. Do this person, means each individual, have difficulty for seeing when he or she is wearing, even if he or she wearing glasses? So remember, disability is now, this is the questions on disability. Remember the question. Does this person, whoever you are asking, remember every individual is asked the question, all of them. For each one we are asking the question, have difficulty for seeing even if wearing glasses. Which means if you are wearing glasses, this is not connected. Now remember, that's what the point I am raising. Disability definition has to be important. If you say how many people in Bangladesh wear glasses, percentage is quite large. But this is the definition of finding out disability, which means even with glass, I cannot see things properly. So remember these differences. So that's why this is, so this, if you get, and this is code means which person. So if they put, for example, if they put 1, that means this person. If it is put 2, that means this person. So you really don't know who is suffering, and you can get his information available. Next question, difficulty in hearing, even if he or she wearing hearing aid. So that's the second disability in hearing. Then the person disability in walking or climbing. So that's the other one. Then the question is difficulty in remembering. So if you are forgetting things, that's another one. Then they have a question on self-dressing, feeding, toileting. In other words, whether you can do this or not. And they have a question on communication, for example, understanding or being understood, cannot speak properly. So they have these disabilities they have collected. So in other words, you have 178,000 people roughly, and you know exactly. And remember, this is represented by district. What percentage of people is disabled? Where? Who are they? Where are they coming from? All this information can be extracted because I have the family information. So that's the. Then they have roster 1. So again, if you look in the top, this is roster household section 1 part B. So remember always the questions are designed with section and why am I saying it? Let me bring you to something which is important for us so that we know why am I talking about it. So if I go to the data set, remember this is the data set. So this is the data set. HH section 1A, which means, and this is HH section 1B. So it means this page data is in this file. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so which means if you want to trace this data, you have to remember that this data will be available in a file, and the file name should be whatever the file name is. If you think about it, it will be HH section _ 1P. So remember how they are arranging the data so that you can say, how do I find this data? Which means it will be in the file HH section 1B. Why it is 1 and this is B? So remember, how to identify in such a big questionnaire where is my data. So that's what I'm showing you, that the data, if you go back to this file again, is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are lots of files. Each section has a file. Okay, so I'm just giving you the idea that the section has 5. So you should know that this is. Then the question would be, this is 1, this is 2. So it will be Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So remember how they will design it. So you can actually see all the questions very easily if you go to the data. Just to show you that this is a, so let me go to the previous section, or the first section. Just look at the first section, this one. So this is section would be the top sheet. So where is that this data? So if you go back to the files, this will be the section A, which is the first section. I'm opening the file. If I open the file, which is in Stata, remember the data is in Stata. Let me still update it, just give me a second. So it has collected the information. If I see the data, just to give you, it has 46,076 right here, which means this is the information about 46,076. And it has, if you go back, PSU, which is number 1, then you have household ID, which is number 1, and then you see what you have done. They have done this one and this one, they have put into this one and this one, they put into 1 and 1. So remember Y and 1, this is the number 1, and the digit of the household is 3. So they put 1001. This is 1003. You might say, what happened to 002? Okay, theoretically there should be 00. It may have happened that that data was not available, they could not find him, or the data was not, did not satisfy their supervisor's quality control. So they thrown it out, that this is not a good data. We don't know what happened. But you realize 1, 3, 4, 11. So there's a lot of data they probably they did not, because this is 14 days. Either they did not complete all the questionnaire for the next 14 days, the person was not available. These are all possibilities. So you can actually realize the household ID, this is the HH hold, which is this. This is the Borishal code is 10. So now you realize this is the division code. If it is Borishal, it will be 10. If I go down, if it is Rangpur, it is 55. So they have all the division code. Then this is the district code. And if you want to know the district code, you can realize the district code name is already there. District, if it is division, it is 10. If it is district code 6, it is Borishal. So remember, the district code is different. So again, this is 4 from Borguna. It starts from Borguna, and it has all the coding. Okay, so they have all the coding. I'm not sure why they have 90, because we have 64 districts, if you remember. So, but for some reason, that's how they have done it. So best idea to do it very simple. We know that this is one, and I will show you that how can you bring them together. I'll show you this. Then they have the code for this is the code for 3, and you can see this. This is the name 3. Name 3 is Thana. So this is the Thana. So which Thana they have gone for collecting this data? This is the Amtoli Thana. So for example, they know in Borguna district they went to Amtoli. Okay, that's what they have collected the data. And then this is the code of Amtoli, 9. So now remember, Thana code will be, this is 2 digit, which means there will be repetition. There are many 9s. So you have to combine with district in order to understand whether it is the right Thana or not. After Thana, they have the ward. So this is ward number 2, that's why they put the 2. So remember, this is ward number 6, that's why they put the 6. This is 13. So remember, this is the Amtoli Union, not the municipality. This is municipality, this is union. Okay. Then they have the code of the 5. So remember, this is Moza. And so this is the Moza. And each Moza has a number. Okay. So that's what they have. So they remember all the numbers are there. And these are geocoded. Geocoding probably is also available from Bureau of Statistics. Let me show you. If I go to BBS, so we normally, because this should be fixed, it's easier if we collect it from BBS. So they have a geocoding file, and nowadays people are using that. I'm not sure whether in this data they have used that, but they have geocoding. So let me go to the English version. So I'm showing when you are going to handle the data yourself, where are the problems come. So I think this is where, so you see, survey census, somewhere there should be geocoding. Digitization, publication. So within the publication, this is the geocode. So if you go to the geocode, so if you go to the geocode, it gives you geocode for all of them. So if you go to Borishal, so it will give you geocode of Borishal Jaga. See how it works. Every single location of the Borishal district has a number. So see what happened. This is the division number. Borishal division is 10. This is the district number. Borishal district 6. This is the, so you see if you go back to this one, this is the city number, city code. This is the Thana code. This is the Poro code. So I have all this information by each location. So remember this, that if I want to know the information, geocode file, which is a big file, huge file. So we actually go to the geocoding and collect this information. So if I go to, for example, Dhaka, just to give you an example, another example, this is geocode file of Dhaka. And if you want to use census data, you need the geocode file. Otherwise, you have no idea what the data is, because each of these geocode is unique and is used in all census data. So if someone is using census data, the geocoding becomes very important to understand geocoding. That's what it is. It's a big file, so it's taking time. I'm just waiting for this file to be uploaded. It has a, let's see if it does again. Looks, it's a big file. So let me go to a smaller file. Go to Feni, for example. Small files should be easy to handle. Okay, not this. Okay, so let me see if I can get all of them into all. This is a whole book. If you think about all of them, it's almost like a full book for getting all the geocodes. So every part of Bangladesh has a code. So if you go to Select, for example, let's see whether it can upload Select, for example. Either the internet or their server has a problem. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Nah, খুলছে না. So either they have a problem. But what I'm trying to show you is that this data is কোথায় ছিলাম যেন আমরা? Okay, so this is where we are. So if we go back, let's go back to our go back here. Okay, so they have all the geocoding. That's why all the codes come from that book. So it's a huge effort for Bureau of Statistics to standardize things. So when we go back again, let's go back to the sections so that we know the section. So remember, all the codes are here. So remember, codes for question 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17. So remember, these are the disability questions and they're given the code. What does it mean if it is 1, 2, 3, 4? So remember, all these are given. Okay. Then they have this, and this is where we were. So, for example, the first question in section B: did you work for livelihood during the past 7 days? So, remember, unemployment data is a very important data. So, unemployment data, we want to collect unemployment data, and we define unemployment. Remember, this is a macroeconomic definition of unemployment. What is the definition of unemployment? And based on the definition, they use this, and this is standardized. In the last time we talked about the UN Statistical Office, that this is standardized around the world, so that even though people who are not familiar with it, they will say this is a very funny question. Okay, so remember, this is what they are asking for. So, did you work for livelihood during the past 7 days? If it is, or no. If it is yes, okay, next person. So you ask the same question to the next person. That's what they're asking. If it is no, should ask for all questions. I'm not sure what they're saying no. Okay. Were you available? So, if it is yes, that's it. You don't have to ask anything question. If it is no, you go to the next question. Were you available for work during the past 7 days? Which means I was not working, but they said, are you available? That's the second question. If it is yes, then go to the next question. Did you look for a job? If it is no, go to the last question. So remember how the questionnaire is designed, and each code is given. So what is the code? 1 means engaged in domestic work, 2 means housewife, 3 means student, 4 means too old. So remember, all these are given codes, and that's so data is nothing but basically a set of codes if you are looking for. Then we come here. This is section 1, part C. So the file name would be, can someone tell me what should be the file name?
Sir, 1C.
1C, exactly. So now you realize that if you want to look into this data set, which you will be looking, and you should also ask yourself a question, which question I'm looking for. The moment you say I'm looking for a question, now let me go to questions data on this, just to give you an idea how we should trace the data, because the data is very difficult to work on unless you understand what is happening. So let's go to 1C. If I open 1C, you realize that this is the data. So questions are all given. So now if you look into this one, so let me show you the questionnaire. So remember the first question, so this is 1 and then these are gaps. So they are saying which family member, and they are saying ID number in the roster. Remember all they are asking for. So if I now go back and then the question number 1 starts, which is the name, is this person currently enrolled? So remember, this is enrollment. So let's look into the data again and see what does it mean. So this is what happened. So S1CQ, remember 1C, that's what they put, S1 survey, this is the survey, 1C from the questionnaire part 1C, question 0A00, which is the ID code, and 01 is the name. So remember 01. 01 basically, if you go to the questionnaire again, that's the one. So question number 1. If this is 1, that means he is enrolled. If it is 2, he or she is not enrolled. So see how the questions are designed. So when you go to the data, so this is where this is each of the questions. If you go to the data set, which is right here, you click on it, you see the data is given. First one is PSU, second one is ID. Together this becomes 4008. Remember 4 and 8, 4008. Okay. Then the first question number 1. Then this is, so now you have this, watch carefully, 1 1 1 1 1. So this is all this same question here. Remember this one. So watch carefully. This one is 1 1 1, but this one is important. 0808. Same household. This is 1, this is 2. Which means from the same household, 2 person, we ask the question. What was the question? Yes or no? Yes and no. And this is the other. So remember, the questions are all designed. So if you look into this one, and this is in Stata, when it is blue color, it means it's coded. So if you click here, remember this is 8, which means this is a code for that. So this is school feeding program. So see what is available. So this is available. So if you now look into the data set, how many data? 168,065. So it means 62,000 people have responded in this roster. So remember 46,000. So you have to realize that the same household, more people from this. So if you look into this one, you need to know, how do I analyze this data? How do I bring all the data together? So that becomes a real data handling or data crunching ability that you have to develop. So if you are not careful listening to this, and if you believe you can do it, don't worry, I will give you a assignment. Okay, so you will be able to see all the questions in the folder is in this particular page. Remember, the page has question up to 16. So let's see. Look at the question here. Number of questions should be up to 8, 16. See, both of them are in the same page. So this is up to 16. All of them are in 1C. So if you go back to this one again, 1C. So in 1C there are 16 questions, and all of the answers were actually recorded. So if someone wants to say that I want to know answer to this question and I want to analyze it. So once you trace this question, you'd be, so for example, this is a question. What is this question says? That again, remember this, how much? This is the question. How much was this person received in cash or kind in last 12 months? So remember, this is a scholarship question, and this coming from somewhere in the back. So how much money they have received? Remember this module. This is 1C, and if you go back to the module, I think top 1C. So what is 1C? 1C is social safety net. So this could be Vidhava Bhata, this could be many things. So how much they have received? That is the question we are looking for. So that information is available. So what is available here? Remember, there are 46,000 families in this particular survey. And if you look carefully, if I now sort it out, I can sort it out easily. Let's sort it out so that we go by the. So remember, 1, just to give you an idea, 1 does not exist, which basically means, let me see if it does not exist. Oh, it exists. Just a second. Let me sort here. That will be easier. So if I sort it here, I realize that in 1, which means the first family in our survey, everyone, remember 1, 2, 3, 4, all 4 people know. Which question? Question number CQ01. What is the question number CQ01? Let me go back. Question number CQ01. CQ01. What is the question? Are you currently enrolled? Okay, and has received any assistance from the safety net program in the last 12 months? And in this family, all of them said no. So see how the data is, we can see the data. We're seeing that in this family, all of them says no. There was 1003, which is third family. In this case, 2 of them says yes. Same family. Watch carefully. Oh no, this 3. Only 1 of them yes. So what did they receive? School feeding program. So see how it works. So we can actually find out how many people which family receives school feeding program, which family receives stipend, which family, so remember this, what is their age? Age is not here. Who received it? Person number 3 received it. So see, family number 4, person number 3, this is the person. So remember always, this is the person. 00 is the person. Person number 3 received this. What did they receive? School feeding program. What is the age of this person? If that is the question, remember age is not in this folder, in this file. Age somewhere else. So we have to open up the age file. And age file is, let me check again, because you have to find out where the age is. So if you go back, I'm looking for age. So age is here. And this one is 1A. So we know in 1A we have the person. Just to give you an idea how it works. So I said, okay, who received the scholarship? I'm just giving this logic to understand. Family number 3, 1003, third person, this is a 3, received school feeding program. Is he a male or a female? We don't know yet, because this file does not have that information. So let me go to 1A, the other file. So if I go to the 1A, we should have this information. You see how they are linked. So I'm going to 1A and I'm looking at the age. So if I go to the age, and it was the third person, remember, household number 3, third person. Oh, this is a female. This is a female, and what was the age? Age was 11 years. How do I know 11 years? This is question number 3 and this is question number 3. So you can see the 3 is age. So this 11 years girl received the scholarship. Remember, in order to understand this, you need to merge files. So similarly, remember the idea that what you need to do. Said, okay, I need to merge 2 files together in order to find out those who received the scholarship, what is their age. So remember the questionnaire data collection, I know you have done it, but this is a large data set. So when you handle large data set, if you collect all this data in one file, it will be huge data set. So the standard design of any large data set is that they are split into many parts and there is a common part. What is the common part? This part will be very common. If it is individual data, it will have individual number, 00. If it is household data, it will have household number. Anytime it has multiple household, that means the individuals. So this is the individual. So let me look into these 3 fields. The first one is the head. Second one is female. And it is, what do you think? Could be wife of the first person. You can see. What is her age? 40. His age is 46. His daughter, this is the daughter. Remember, this is the third person. One is 11. Another daughter, 19. You can see exactly the whole picture. But the way you see the picture is not the same. Now remember why am I saying? Because right now here is 186,000 people. So there are 186,000 people. But in the other file there are 162,000 people. So not all of them are there. That's what I'm trying to push you that, okay, files are not same, but there is one common thread which is right here. Okay, so that's what we have to say, okay, how do I bring these files together? So we bring these files together using different strategies. And in each file, it will give you the information related to the roster. So let me go back again. You see, it has, so let me go to 1C. So if it is 1C, it has all this information. So let me go down and remember, this is the safety code. What is the safety code? How many types of program government has? Watch carefully. Government has nearly 36 different types programs. You and I may not even know what they are receiving. So people can do research. What are the research? People say old age pension. Who are the people receiving old age pension? You can find out because this is randomized data set. Stipend for secondary education, boys and girls. If somebody wants to work on it, it's all there. Which family, what type of house they have, because all the information is available. Stipend for dropout students. So, have you ever heard of this? Anyone? Stipend for dropout children? I never heard about it.
No, sir.
No, but see, government has a program for this. Say, even if you are dropout, government is saying, it's a poor government, Bangladesh, watch carefully, but look at the programs. How many programs are available? School feeding program is there, old age is there. This is the widow fund, women allowances. This is the maternity allowances for poor lactating mothers. Those mothers who are breastfeeding, they cannot work. They have money for that. Now you may want to know who are these people. Whether, so remember, people are very clever researchers. They said, oh, such a huge information is available. I can do the research on this. This is my interest. For you to collect this data is impossible. But this data is available. Maternity allowances for lactating, this is one. Mental health voucher scheme. Many people never thought about it. Government has that program for mentally disabled people. Honorarium, now, how much money they have received, you can go and collect the data is already there, which is very small. In other words, Bangladesh did not provide that much money that others may have done in the world. Honorarium for insolvent freedom fighters. Okay, remember this one. Not all freedom fighters. A lot of people think all freedom fighters. Answer is no. Insolvent freedom fighters. So not all freedom fighters receive it. Honorarium and medical allowance for injured freedom fighters. So there is a second one. And if you want to know, remember people have a lot of questions on many things. Data is available. Okay. Ration for Shaheed family. And so there is a ration scheme, food scheme. Who receives it? What is their family status? What are the factors that determines them? Whether they are better off than similar others? These are questions. Okay. Allowances for distressed cultural personalities. Remember, artists and others. For them, they have also allowances. So many times, see, government has a program. That's why people look for these opportunities. Say, look, if someone is genuinely sick, government has a program for them to provide health. Okay. Now, obviously, it's not going to be for everyone. So this is why researchers come. Say, let's see who got it. Allowances for the financially insolvent disabled. So remember the wording. Financially insolvent disabled. They are not saying for every disabled we have allowances. But how did they determine it? They have a vulnerable group development, VGD, very popular. Vulnerable group development. They will say, look, there are vulnerable groups in societies, for them we provide some funding. You can go to the Ministry of Social Welfare and find out what is this VGD means. And then say, okay, I would like to do a research on them. So remember, the questions are important. If you know this, there's also vulnerable VGD, but VGF. F is feeding. So there is also program for vulnerable group feeding. There is general relief activities. So this is during disasters. Then they have gracious relief. This is GR, cash or food. This is another one. So whenever there is a cyclone, there is something happens in an area, flood, government come up with all this flood victim support. These are all GR. So remember, GR is either food or cash. They give money. They have allowances for beneficiaries of Chittagong Hill Tracts area. So this is under the Chittagong Hill Tract contract. They have food assistance for Chittagong Hill Tracts area. There's another program for food assistance. Employment generation for ultra poor. This is a very interesting program. Anyone heard about it? No one?
No, sir.
Who is talking? বাকিরা কি ঘুমে নাকি? একজনই কথা বলতেছে মনে হচ্ছে। ক্লাসে কি ছাত্র একজন? Let me go back to my class first. I want to see who are the people. Okay.
হ্যাঁ, আমি রেসপন্স করলাম।
মাশরুক, হ্যাঁ মাশরুক কোথায়? বাকিরা কোথায় আছে? So, any idea about this program? What is this program about?
No, sir. No, sir.
Hmm? What is your thinking? What do you think this program looks like? Employment generation program for ultra poor. What do you think? If somebody says you are the Prime Minister and I have money for this, what would you think about it?
Sir, government is creating new businesses for them so that they can employ these ultra poor people, like small SME businesses.
No, let me be clear. This is individual money.
Oh,
Okay, or something too individual, not that I'm creating institution through which you are, so I'm hiring you as a police force. Answer is no. So what the government has done, this is very interesting, there is not much work on done, which is called 60-day work scheme, if I remember correctly. So they're saying minimum 60 days in a year government will give you money, which means, and there are lean period, remember Monga times, this is where the Monga issue came. So government says those 60 days in a year when there is no work in rural areas, I will give you money. So see how people work on, how government works on it. Then there is a food or cash for work. There's another huge work. All the rural roads and yes,
sir,
follow.
government is monitoring that what the people are doing with that money from the 60-day money.
But they're not monitoring, they're also supposed to give money, that's it.
স্যার ইজ ইট ওয়াট লাইক কাজের বিনিময়ে খাদ্য স্যার এই টাইপ অফ প্রোগ্রাম স্যার ফর আলট্রা পুয়ার?
What do you think this one?
স্যার ফুড ক্যাশ ফর ওয়ার্ক। ওকে স্যার,
So, okay.
ওকে
That's what you were trying to say. Remember radio, that's what. Okay. So this is employment generation. So what the government does, government gives money to every union in Bangladesh for 60 days. And they say ultra poor people can work on the fixing roads. Remember, this is where they create jobs. They say we give money for fixing road, maintaining public resources, and for that they give you this work. So this is what is happening. Now questions are there whether it's implemented properly or even efficiently, or the question that somebody says, what do they do with this money? These are all good questions. But data is available. You know who received it. You can exactly find out who received it from this data set. Test relief, food for works is another one. Rural roads are maintained for this. Test relief, there's another one. Food cash, this is relief for emergency food. So this is what the test relief. So remember, there is also another one, gracious relief, and there is also test relief. They are GRTR, that's how the people. So sometimes they have two funds for that. Rural employment opportunity for public assets. So remember, this is ultra poor and this is another one. Rural employment opportunity for called RIOPA. If you are very careful and very smart around the world, India has exactly the same program known as this one. MGREG. This is Indian program. So Indian government gives, this is MGREG, Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Generation Activity. Okay, so remember this is very similar program. In India they have done this, and this was, according to this, in India they are actually giving 100 days. So every village for 100 days poor people will get this money, and this money is designed to create jobs in the rural areas. They are not creating jobs means direct job. They will ask them, come and work and maintain this road for today. This is the pond that is just not working, so you can dig the pond. This is the mosque, you want to fix it. So all this maintenance of public resources at the rural level is done with this. Now people who are very critical, for example in India, MGREGA, some people say this program is known as Morega. So people are also very sarcastic about it. They say this is Morega. Means, so realize those who are non-government or politically opposed, they have a completely different joke for it. They say, oh, there is a program called Morega. Okay, I'm just giving you how the programs have been done. Why am I saying it? Because these programs are Bangladeshi programs, and these program government has introduced. Not that this government has introduced. So long, some program is new, some programs are. This is another program, Rural Employment and Road Maintenance Program. Now there is a difference between these programs. Some programs are done by union, and this rural employment program is done by LG, local government. So there is a local government means LGRD, LGED, engineering division. So there are different agencies, that's why different name. Housing support, remember this. Agriculture rehabilitation. If agriculture is, crops are damaged, government come up with program. Fund for that. One house, one farm. Ekti khamar, ekti bari. Heard about it?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Bangladesh বাস করো না, but America সব জানো নাকি? So the government has another Ekti Khamar Ekti Bari program. Huge money government spend. Then they have a targeted ultra poor. This is done with the BRAC. So government actually done exactly some work directly through the union, but this is, they give the money to the BRAC and they said you do it. Chor livelihood project, another project. So people are living in, you know what is a chor?
Yes, sir.
What is a chor?
So basically it's যে নদী ভাঙ্গনের সময় যে আইল্যান্ডের মতো ক্রিয়েটেড এ নিউ ল্যান্ড, that's
Have you been in a chor?
no sir.
Fine. No, sir. Okay. Maybe you should have it. People should go and see this. These are interesting. So see how many program government created. So when we say that these are the programs, most people don't know it, that I agree. But having a student of economics and say, oh, we don't know anything, that does not look very good. That's what I'm. So this is again Child Livelihood Project. This is a project funded by, if I remember, so remember a lot of these projects are funded by donors. So don't assume that this, for example, Morega, which is Indian, was found by the UNDP. I think RIOPA, which is same in Bangladesh, is also funded by UNDP. In Bangladesh it is 60 days, in India it is 100 days. So remember different. Child Livelihood Project is funded by British, so different organization funding different projects. Not that all of them are government money, but it is government receive the money and then spend the money on this. There have been economic empowerment for the poor. This is Shiri project. What is Shiri? Any idea? Exactly. That's how the name is. So when I teach many other project design course, I tell you the name is important. So they said it's a project called Shiri. Means you go up. So that's what they have done. This project is ended now. Now why they have done all the project? Because some of the project may not exist anymore. But the people who benefited out of this project in 2016, we want to trace them. And it is time Let's say, for example, British funded the Chor Livelihood Project. They would say, I would like to know who received the funding, what is the impact of this project. So remember, when we say we're looking for research questions, those who are, this is why you should read all this to understand what they, and then they have also, this is the UPPR. UPPR is a very interesting program. It's one of the major program for urban areas, urban poor, urban partnership for poverty reduction. So if you go to under UPPR, you will find out, if you remember this, even if you go to many NGOs within Dhaka city, many of them receive money under UPPR program. Government creates hospital facilities, water supply, sanitation services under UPPR program in the slums of Dhaka and many other places. So they have UPPR program. Which family received it? That's a question. Was it when? Did they benefit out of it? Did their family had less diseases than others? See, questions are there. We have Sohardho program. Not sure about Sohardho program. Who did it? I'm not sure because I don't remember this program. Then they have Save the Children program, which is Nobo Jiban program. Remember, Save the Children written means is funded by Save the Children. They have Proshar program, again funded by somebody else. So there's a lot of programs are available. Now, not all of them exist now. Let me be very clear. They collected the data because in 2016, these programs were given to different households in different parts of Bangladesh. And they wanted to know in a randomized survey so that researchers can actually use this data for doing something else. That's what the issue means. Okay. Remember, there was a question on in kind or in cash. What were the kind money? So some of these gave rice, some of these gave heard about fortified rice? Never?
No, sir.
These are given with additional vitamins added to the rice to the poorest people so that their health benefits are there. So remember how the programs are designed. So you might want to find out those who received fortified rice versus those who did not. What is the impact? So remember, in our book, it is the impact studies. That's how it means that, okay, I would like to know this because not everyone received it. Some people received rice, wheat, maize, flour. Fortified flour is also there. Can you just hold on? There is a call from abroad. একটু ধরো, Yes. Okay, now you realize the electricity is gone. Okay, বাংলাদেশের অবস্থা বোঝা যাচ্ছে. So don't worry, I will continue because I'm on laptop. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us continue. Because I don't think we have a problem. You may not see me well, that's fine. Okay. So fortified flour we are talking about. See how many, and these are actually under certain program. If you do research, you may find out, oh, who did this idea? What happened? They have also parched rice or flattened rice. So this is basically chida. Relief. Remember, a lot of time during they put this, their pulses, edible oil, different kind of ration. Remember, ration includes this packaged milk, So there are also cook stove. They give chula for someone. They give buffaloes and cows to some families. They give goat and sheep to some families. They give chicken to some families. They give boat to some families. They give rickshaw to some families. Tin, latrine, remember this, housing. All these are valid questions. And when people say, I want to do research, I know everyone is looking for big, big things, but these are the most important things because government has spent, not just government, donors also, millions of dollars. And they would like to know what is the impact of these. And this is why when people do research, when people say, I want to do research, if you do not understand anything, you say, I want to do something that you really don't realize whether it's a real problem or not. But I thought this is a very good introduction to the social safety net program. My understanding is there are 72 different types. Okay? But all of them was not there in 2016. This one is again 1C. More questions. And they have questions, and I'm just going back to the code again. Again, in kind, remember the same code. They have criteria for selection. So see, not only they have given you information, but they have said, look, which criteria was used for this. So they have the household given this information. This is the criteria why I received this money. A lot of information is available. So when you are doing research, you should realize research should link to something that increases human welfare, should answer the question people are looking for. But if you say, should we study, is that something that many of people are thinking, I don't find interesting because you are not inside the real problem of the society. This is 2A. Remember, 2A is about education. And look at this, all persons 5 years and older. So they are asking questions to all persons if you are 5 years or older. Below 5, they are not asking question. What is the question? Remember the literacy. They said, can you read a letter? Letter means not ABCD. Chithi. Can you write a letter? So remember, literacy is redefined now. Previously, literacy means can you sign? But now we have changed the definition. We said, and this is when we definition, can you write the letter and can you read the letter? Which one will be higher?
So writing.
Write the letter. Writing, sir.
Right? Beshi percentage.
Oh, no, sir. Percentage is reading would be higher.
Reading a beshi hobe.
Yes,
So you can
sir,
guess
reading.
this is already. Okay? Have you ever attended school? That's also so. You may read, may write, but I may have never attended the school. That's also possible. If it is no, don't ask any question. Go to the next person. If it is yes, go to the next question. See how the questionnaire is designed. And what is the next question? If you are yes, what is the highest class you have completed so far, whatever is your age? So they have all this by code. Remember, the data is always by code. So they have given all of them. Okay? So these are the level of education, class 1 to electricity is back. Okay. Okay, so this is next question. So you know exactly for each person. So people have a lot of questions. That where do you go? Okay, what type of education you have? Now remember, this is equivalent. Equivalent basically means question comes in that he may have done madrasa. How do I know? Look at this question. Where did you study? That's what the question happened, madrasa. So see, you can actually find out that those who have studied from madrasa finished SSC equivalent versus those who have studied from school finished SSC equivalent. What is the difference between them? This is why people do PhD and other works. They actually have those fundamental questions that this survey actually provides. So, because you have all this information available. Because we have 46,000 households 162,000 people. So if you go to the data, how many people you have? Let me go back to the data. This is supposed to be 2A. Let me open 2A. Let me close some of them. So let me close this one. Too many opening. Let me close this one. Let me close this one. Okay, 2A. Just to give you an idea. So if you go to 2A, So if you open this one, and if you go to the data set, it has opened it. It has data from 186,000, 1,86,000. So you have 186,000 people, and for example, if I now go to the SA, so let me just give you this. If I say CAB, so CAB SAQ, S2 AQs, AQ 05, you see, it has 120,000 people's information, and it says 5% people are actually in madrasa. Many people have completely different idea, 20%, 30% written in the newspapers. Garbage. Because this is the representative data set. Okay? Formal schooling, 81% people in Bangladesh. Okay? These are the two data they have mistakes, 0. So you can throw out these two data. Formal college, see, 81% of the total people in Bangladesh went to formal school. Formal college, only 9%. Let me be question this one. Highest education, 04. So you can play with this. 04 will give you a fantastic idea. What is the fantastic idea? What percentage of people, remember this is all household member. Household 128,000. Why 128,000? Because some people are below 5 years. So out of 122,000, this is everyone in the household. Watch carefully. 15% people or 16% cumulative, if you go to people finished PEC. Watch carefully here. 49% people are below class 5 or equivalent. Class 1, 10%. Class 2 and class 1, 17%. Only class 2, 6%. That's the highest education. Now that includes students. So if you exclude them, which you can do, you can find out those who has finished education, what is the current level of their educational status in Bangladesh. So when people say, oh, I want to industrialize Bangladesh, you will be surprised to find out, watch carefully, 89% or 90% below SSC. What does it mean? You see? What percentage? It's a lot of, so if you start thinking about it, 80, this is up to SSC, HSC level 95. So 95% of the people did not go above HSC level. That's the statistics. So lot of time people have questions. If you have this data, you can actually find out. I remember someone I asked the other day, what percentage people study in madrasa? He or she said 20%. Then I said garbage. Because people never handle the data. written by newspaper. Newspaper people, a lot of them do not even understand what they are talking about it because they never handle data like this. This is why sampling strategy is important. Said, okay, what percentage here? When in a country, if you look into the 90% people, if you think about it, watch carefully, only 9% people has SSC level education. That's what it means, right? 15% people have SSC, and if you look at the 8, which is 71% people. So again 9%. So watch carefully, the percentage is very low. So educational information is available in this data set. I'm just giving you that how do you handle data and said, okay, I can actually use this to understand a lot of things. So remember this. This is what type of school institutions you attended. Remember, this is another one. Is it government madrasa or it is Qawmi madrasa? That's the second question. A lot of people think about it. So let's look into the data set. If you come back and said, okay, I would like to know question number 6. Look at this one. This is the government madrasa, only 2%. Qawmi madrasa, which is another 1%. The rest are madrasas, but neither this nor this. So see the difference? Common sense, I've seen many people talking and say, oh, this is the large number. Just a second. What happens to my... Sorry, power was not connected properly. We'll take a break with the azan. There are 4 or 5 mosques around my house. So let's stop for it. 2 minutes stoppage. Okay, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's go back. So you said all this information is available. What is the last studies? Was it, see, outside Bangladesh? Was the last study outside Bangladesh? That's the question. You want to know the answer on Bangladesh? Let's see. And this is the 7. What percent? Hmm?
So not even one.
Not even one. So I'm trying to give you an information. Now you can also go back and analyze those who studied this. Who are they? Are they all rural, urban? What is their family status? Remember, the data number is very small. 853 out of 120,000 people. This is a very small number. Now, obviously, you might say, let us forget about all the people, because that's not a right percentage. Because if you are going to abroad, may not be at class 5, so certain age you can exclude. That means you need to add this data with the age data, and then say, if I exclude this age out beyond 20 years, what percentage? The number will change. So see, you can actually go back and collect and reorganize the data set the way you like. And the assignment that I will give is actually towards that, which means you have to go and do this analysis, which will help you to actually handle large data. The next module is about 2B, which is current enrollment. So these are students. So remember, this one, everyone. This is also 5 years and older, but this is who are the students. So if you want to know where are the people studying right now, distribution, that is right here, which means depending on your question, you need which module. That's what people should be very careful about the module. Otherwise, you get the wrong answer, because the module is not capable of answering those questions. So let me go back to this module, which is supposed to be module 2B. Okay, so just do you go? So this is 2B, and you said, okay, what class currently studying? This is SBS. Remember how it works? S2B question 03. So who are you? Which one? This one, right? Graduate and equivalent. This is postgraduate. What percentage of people are currently studying? Now remember, now 120,000 is gone, which means current student is only about 50,000. So remember, the percentage is completely going to change. Now they will show the number differently. Out of the current students, no school, remember, no school, but 5 years age, still 5%, or they are in preschool. Class 1, large number. So remember, this is what the new generations are coming. So if you look into this one, but then dropout is happening. Class 4, class 5, the number is going down. By the time you finish, remember, they started about 10%, 2% are gone. They did not finish class 5. From 2%, another 2% is gone. So I'm giving you the logic to say, okay, how do I interpret the data? And you are about the 5% of the students. Of all the students in the country, from KG to universities, 5% students are studying in universities. Okay, so remember, this is the question are important. So this is what, why are you not attending? So if you are not attending school, they are also asking why you did not. Remember, this is the dropout. So remember, this is the question all people currently enrolled 5 years or older. So what is the question? Remember, it's 5 years or older. Are your current school attendance education, are you currently enrolled? It says no. If it is no, they are asking this question. Why not? Okay. So this is about the age group of the school, university, student group. And there are reasons. If it's enrolled, go to the next question, which class? Then they're asking, are you receiving any stipend? So let's see what percent of students receiving stipend. So let me go back to the same question. And this is question number 4. Large number, right?
Yes, sir.
So 20% of the current students receiving stipends. So yes, you might say Bangladesh. So see, next question. Many people ask the question: are these people receiving stipend because of high schools quality, school quality, or because of the parents' education, or because they have a private tutor? What are the reasons? Whether private tutoring contributes towards all this? So a lot of research questions are there, and people can say, oh, I have the data. I can see people who have received this, and I would like to find out who are these people. What contributed towards this? I'm just giving you the logic to say, okay, we have a, and they have, let's see, are you receiving? And they said, which type of scholarship? Let's see this one, which is 5. What type of scholarship are they receiving? So if you ask the question number 5, then they are saying majority receives where? Primary. By the time it is university, it's only less than 1%. So see where the government is spending money. This is where. So a lot of people say government is doing something or not doing something. Look at the data. Okay. And you can actually divide it by division, because the division is also available. Who is coming from which division? And you can look into this, whether these divisions, what are the types of families, what kind of educational facilities, questions. They have a lot of questions on this. So people did a good work on this, if you look carefully on these studies. So those who are in education, they have a beautiful work on it. So actually people can do fantastic work based on this kind of a data set. Okay. And the beauty of this data set is that if you do nice work based on this data set, people will not be able to say, oh, your data is wrong. That kind of accusation is impossible. The same thing with your data set, people will say not acceptable. So see, not acceptable because it does not give you the story of the population. So see the difference between using the data set. Okay, then how much did you receive? That's also, so if you want to know how much did they receive, we ask this, they say, oh, I can collect it. But instead of tab, collect sum. So that's summary, give me a summary statistics. So how much they receive? So this is about question 5. How much? 6. See, look at the number. Average is only about, this is per year. 1100 this time. What do you think? But there are also some people receive 48,000. So yes, there is a variation. Okay? And we have to check why they receive 0. So there are entry error also. So we always check all this. So provides me that there are, remember how many people? 9,907 people receives scholarship. 5 of them miss, data is not correct. So if I saw 9,902, but this is where 9,889, less than this, people have provided information, and some of them are 0. So if we say, no, I want to find out if S2B 3206 is bigger than 0, give me the information. Not a huge number. There's also someone received 1 taka. So you can see there may be errors too. So then we said, okay, let me also correct this. Let me say if anyone below 100 taka, don't want to include them. Not a lot of difference, but average is 1140. So roughly 1200 taka, monthly 100 taka. Not a huge number. Question is, what did they do with it? Who received? So these are all information available in the data set. Okay. Last question is not clear, so let's see what is the last question. We can get, if the question is not clear in the questionnaire, you can get it from this. What is this question? Do you benefit from the, so remember we can actually get the question also from the data file. So it's all possible. So I can increase the size of this one. Tuition waiver. See, that's what next question is. That not only you got scholarship 100 taka per month, but we also ask that if you receive scholarship, government, the institution should not charge you any tuition fee. So government is asking, maybe some institution did, some institution did not give this. So see, people who are inquisitive, they will be able to study and find out what kind of institution did not provide this help. Then they have a question on expenditure, which is the next page. This is also to be, remember it's all in the same file, expenditure during past 12 months for education. Those people spend money. So see, they're asking admission fee, session fee, donation or institutional fee, registration fee, exam fee, tuition fee, textbooks, how much they spend, exercise book, stationaries, uniform dress or uniform in the school, private tutoring, coaching fee, hostel expenses, transport fee, tiffin cost, internet fee, other expenses. So you can actually find a full distribution of expenditure. A lot of time people say this is not acceptable. How much money they spend on other issues? So how much money they spend on private tutoring? Who are these people receiving? Do they benefit out of it? All these questions are relevant questions. Okay, so I'm just giving you that idea that okay, we can find out all of them. These are available. This data is provided in the whole question. This one, health. Interesting questions. Have you suffered from any chronic illness in the last 12 months? And then they ask the question, which kind? So certain diseases, you can actually collect real statistics. These are available. Then the question is, have you suffered from any symptoms? So remember, diseases are chronic versus acute. Acute are symptom based. Chronic is disease based. So symptom based means jaw, which is not the disease, which is a symptom. So they have all this. They created some of them. So they found out that okay, you can actually find out which family has more diseases. Then the question is, have you sought medical treatment? And if you did, where did you go? Okay, that's the next question. Those who did not, why you did not go to a physician? Who are these people? So remember, these are data available. So all the questions that you are thinking of, probably 90% of the questions are here. Then the question is, which of the following consultant, who was the institution you went? Which kind of doctor you met? From pharmacists, homeopath, Kobiraj, to the government hospitals. Where did you go? Then the question comes, who was it consulted, urban or rural? That's another question. You may be living in urban areas, rural areas, but you may go to an urban area for a consultant. Question is, who, for what type of disease, where? How many days symptoms began for the first time you are consulting? Then the question was, why did you choose the provider? Why did you go there? What was in your mind? Why people prefer? So remember, people analyze demand and everything. All information is available. Demand for health services. Where did you get medicine from? That's the next question. How did you travel to go to the hospital? Even that information. How much time it took to go to the hospital? All of this information is available for every person that they have collected data. Next one. How long did you have to wait? So how much waiting time did you have? So many people say in America, in England, they say waiting time for certain hospital queue is certain days, 12 months, also possible. We have also data. But problem is our researchers never use this data. Use common sense. That's a problem of common sense. Common sense is nonsense if you do not have the data. Okay. Then the next question. This is about, again, illness, continuous, but this is about what was the total cost of outpatient treatment for the past 30 days. So this is very difficult to find out full. So they're asking for last 30 days, if not going to a hospital, how much expenses? Where are the expenses? Consultation fee, cost of medicine, cost of test, transportation, outpatient cost. And then the question is, how much did you spend for the following in the past 30 days? Okay, so this is again, these are immunization, contraceptive, ORS, saline basically. Then you have routine medicine. So remember the regular medical expenses. Where did you admitted for the hospital? So those who stayed in the hospital, they say, if you are yes and no, where did you? And they have a code below, you find out. If yes, how many nights you stayed? If you are going for a disease, where did you stay? Then also health question, which is part 3A, continuous. 18th question, lot of questions. Reasons for hospital. Why did you go to the hospital? What were the reasons? Which disease? So if someone says, I'm looking for certain hospitalization services and says, oh, what is the demand for heart disease versus, so remember all these are available. That's why representative data is important. Doing a survey in a hospital is useless. Which hospital did you admit it in? So see, they have all this specialization. Then they said, what is the total cost of treatment in the 12 months? And they are asking all these questions by groups, including tips. Okay, so that's what they are asking. How did you finance? What was the financing mechanism for the outpatient or inpatient treatment? Is it from your own income? Did you sell livestock? Did you had a loan? All these are there. And how much loan you have taken. So all these questions they have asked. Now the next section, which is economic activities and wage employment. Remember wage employment. So this is now going from education, health, going to the wage employment. This is 4A. See, you can always remember this. Where would you find the question or the data? So this is HH section 4A. And if you think what is this question number, think it, this will be S4A1 Q01. So see, you can actually find out which question exactly. So without even looking at the data, if you know the logic, you say, okay, this is one. This will be 1A, 1B, 1C. Because these are three things. Okay. So this will be, what will be this one? S4AQ02. So you see how it works. So if somebody said, I want to know where is the data, answer is just look for this. This is the data. And in the questionnaire you will find out. So let's look into this one. There are three things. What are the three things? The question is, what economic activities did you do in the past 12 months? Okay. So remember, past 12 months, what economic activity did you do? They asked. Let me look into the data. That might give you a better information. So this is 4A. So you open 4A, go to the data set, and you realize now, if you think carefully, this is the 4 means which person, this is the economic activity. Okay, and this is their code 1A, B, and C. So what is A? Remember I told you A, B, and C. Remember 3 things. That's the questionnaire. So this will be A, this will be B, and this will be C. So now they have description of the activity, code, and industry code. Remember there's a lot of things. So if you look at the data again, this is a carpenter. This is 1, 81, which is carpenter is 81. This is the B, and this is the industry. Which industry? 20. So you see, they have divided into many different things. So for example, if you, this is one of the most difficult data set. So let me go to this data set and see how many types of occupation they have. So if I want to see how many types of occupation, I will say tab, and this would be this one. This is too many values, they cannot do it. How about this one? Out of 99 different code, they found out different. So now we have to find out which one is what. What is 99 code? Remember 81. 81 is carpenter, 2.5%. So see which profession has what percentage. This is 61, 33%. So you can find out which are the major code. This is 36, which is 7%. So they have all these occupation-wise numbers. And how many people? 60,000 people. Remember, 50,000 people are students. 60,000 people are working. So 60 and 50, 110,000 people. And the rest are either less than 5 years or non-working, housewife or older person or disabled person. So remember the way, so you can actually see the data that, okay, you don't know who is what, but you can collect all the information by looking at this one. Okay, this is, so if I look at the industry code, this is the occupation code, and C is the industry code. How many in this? Again, there are same things, almost like 60,000. So I think it is the same, something. So this is the code that is the most difficult code. I tell you why, because when we were using this data, this code are not available. Somehow we did not write this code. That's the worst part of it. That it did not say what is one means. So we had to find out. We had to, I think we worked on it to find out what is code where. And it is available in BBS somewhere. I think if I go to BBS dataset, remember the BBS dataset, if we go to BBS dataset, somewhere there is an industry code. So if we say, let's say, go to Google, BBS industry code Bangladesh. So then, see, National Industrial Classification. So they have the code. So this is the National Industrial Classification. Again, codes are all given. So see, each one is defined, and they said which one is where. Okay, so you have to look into this definition and say, oh, okay, BBS is doing it. BBS does it very systematically. So they have the code number. So they have 2-digit code number, 3-digit code number. So 2-digit code number is 20. Seven 3 digits 27 1 2. Sorry, শোনা যাচ্ছে আমাকে?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Gotcha.
Okay, so I am just giving you that, okay, if I want this information, it's available. So if when somebody says, sir, আমি কিছু জানি না, answer হচ্ছে you did not work on it. I also do the same thing. I just go and search because BB has all this data set. So I'm right now, I know that I need this. So this is National Industry Code. So I know, okay, we can collect this information and keep it somewhere because this is a very interesting information. Okay, so 2-digit versus 3. Remember, we use 2-digit in this survey. That means this one. Okay, so they have all this digital, and if you remember 81, let me check whether this is correct. Service. So remember, this is service activities. Carpenter is a service for building and landscape activities. Now you realize why they use carpenter in 81. So you see how they have created the 2-digit versus 3-digit classification. So if someone says, oh, I don't have the information, a Bureau of Statistics people will laugh at it. And those who know, they will say you did not work for it. Okay, so this is available. All information is available. What is the daily wage? Actually, these are all available. In other words, last 12 months, they have had different wage, highest, lowest, average. They're saying, okay, obviously you did not have the same wage, but let's see, what is the three digit, 3 numbers. Did you receive payments in kind? Agriculture people a lot of time receive payment in kind. That's why they ask this question. What type of in-kind payment did you receive? That's what they're asking. Which type? That's why I say agriculture is here. Sometimes meal is part of the payment. Okay. So remember, a lot of time people say average wage of tea workers are, for example, this much. They forget that there is another payment which is meal and food, paddy, rice, and others. So these are the questions. That's why when the normal people versus researchers, they're different. They said, look, these are the 2 kinds of payments. There's a lot of in-kind payments in certain industries, and there are a lot of cash payments in certain industries. For example, a garments worker receives cash payments. Your housemaid receives cash and kind. What is cash? Cash is whatever you give. Kind means your food and clothing. That's a payment? Answer is yes, it is a payment. So that's how the average is. So a lot of people come up with all these questions. Then researchers say, look, these are the 2 kinds of payments. This is what it is. How much did you receive per day? Both in kind. So if you have say in kind, how much? Then the question is, which type of organization you work? Is it a government organization? Is it an autonomous body, private? So these are questions. Then the question, this is the salaried wage. Remember the question, daily wage and salaried wage. So 2 types of people. Some people have the information here, some people on here, some people both. So if you're a salaried wage, what type of organization you work? Okay. So remember all these issues. This is salary. So you can actually find out who are the people who receive daily payment versus who are the people who receive salary payment. What is your gross remuneration per month? Remember, this was daily, this is month. What is your total net income, monthly remuneration after deduction at source? Remember, income tax deduction. They are asking how much is your income after tax? What is the value in kind benefit that you receive? So remember, even monthly, like your mates receive in kind benefits. Okay, so that's what they're asking. So remember, these are interesting. So people should analyze all of them and say, okay, I would like to know certain things. So these are all issues. Non-agriculture enterprise. So remember, these are still non-agriculture economic activities. Now this is employment. Now it is coming enterprise. The difference between employment is I earn income. Enterprise means I run an organization. So the question is, what kind of enterprise you own, jointly, solely, or operated? So they are asking that question. Again, industry code is available, and this will be in 5. What will be the section number? This is 5, nothing more than that. So let's go to the data set and check. So there should be a file called 5. See, no 5AB. This is only 5. So it's very clear that how they have arranged the data. So they said, okay, if this file you are looking for, it is HH section _ section underscore 05. They wanted 2 digits, that's why they put 05, nothing more. So this is the file. And they have information on enterprise, which people in the household. Is there your family member? Who? What is their ID? You can now go back and find out whether he was a student who was working in the family business. Remember, you can find out those parents whose family, similar parents who family members work in the business versus who did not work. What is the difference? So remember all these issues. Not all of you want to know something. Means what I do not know that what is the result of this person who was working. I don't have the SSC result because he's still a student. So certain information are not available. That's why we do secondary survey. There's a lot of survey available. For how long has this enterprise active? Then the question is, where do you operate? Own house, rented? Remember this. Or even a variable location, means Rasta Ghate. It's also asking this question. How many months did enterprise operate in the 12 months? May not be all months. What is household share what is household share of this enterprise? Is it 100% owned? If it is partnership, that's the question. What share of profit owned by the household? What share of profit you get? Okay. Who are your customers? Okay. That's the next question. Again, the first and second, there are 2 options available, multiple. Is the enterprise actively registered? Is it registered enterprise? That you will know that which kind of industries enterprise registers. Okay. Whether there is a difference between registered versus non-registered. So remember all these. Those who are registered in the same business, non-registered, is what is the difference between them? What is the main source of financing? What was the enterprise financing? So this is available again. This is the business operation. Same 5, 11 question. How many employees you have? What problem do you have at running the business in 12 months? So these are the questions they say. Okay. Problems of water supply, electricity supply also there. Whether that has affected your business. Actually, information is available if you are looking for analysis. Now, if you look into the household survey report did not give all of that. That is what they have left for the researchers. Gross revenue. This is gross revenue. Why? Because that's your income, revenue, not profit. Expenditure on wages. How much you spend for wages. Expenditure on rent. So remember, you are now going to the net revenue. Eventually you get, that's what they are saying. That if you gross revenue minus all this, you will get the net revenue. Capital goods. How much did you buy capital goods? Sales of assets. So buying and selling. You may have bought a car and sold a car. So that's possible. If someone wanted to buy this enterprise, how much would you have to pay? So they are looking at the value, what wealth of this or worth of this, net worth of your business. So also this is, then we have question number 6, which is N6A, which is about housing. What information? Again, they are asking the ID of the respondent who is answering this. So remember, in the household there are many people, someone is responding this. How many rooms? So number of rooms. Type of dwelling, is it separate dining? Yes or no? Does your household, if you watch this one, you have a lot of interesting information. Is your dwelling shared? Whether you have electricity, remember? What type of stove? What kind of cooking facilities you have? Again, this is rural urban data. So you can find out what type of stoves from gas, electricity stove. Construction materials. What is your wall material? What is your roof material? Okay, what is the material on the main room floor material? All these are, this is the roof, this is the wall, and this is the, I think, floor. 3 parts should be there. So this one is wall, this is the roof, 2 parts. So wall and roof. And now if you have multiple houses, that's why they said main room. Main room means you may have one room, one house which is where you live versus kitchen is separate. two different kind of materials. That's what I was asking your standard of living information. How much usable space, square foot? Do you know how much? What is your square foot? Anyone? How much square feet do you have in your house?
Yes, sir.
Good. So let
Yes,
us
sir.
see. Let us see how rich you are. What do you think? So let us look into this data. I'm just curious and just to give you an idea or probably a shock. So this is in 6A. So square feet, which is should be total usable area. This one. Summarize. So, capital, sorry. Summarize. What is the average housing standard in Bangladesh?
400 square feet.
Good. What do you think? You are rich or poor?
Rich, certain.
Very rich considering this.
So I'm just giving you the information, and this is so I can actually get a histogram. You see, maximum is here, right? Some people have 40,000 square feet, but number is very low. So see, you are very rich or not. So you can actually get this information, and these are all available. You can now connect. লেখাপড়া করে যে গাড়ি ঘোড়া চড়ে সে, ভালো ঘরে থাকে সে, right? Whether it is true or not. All these information are available, and you can so remember the variation is very high. Okay, someone is without house, zero is there, right? Zero is there means someone is without house. Very simple. And someone has 33,000. Okay, so this is 46,025 household, which means all information from all how. This is why we say always missing information. Some household did not provide this information, did not know, right? Things like that. Someone is shared. So remember all these issues. Okay, so that is available. So now you know what kind of water supply, drinking water supply they have. Okay, what are the different types of drinking water supply? They have this, whether you have tube well, whether you have arsenic in your house, whether you have source of drinking water. What is the source of drinking water? What are the main source of water? What are you drinking and non-drinking? Then they say, does your household have electricity connected or not? Do you have normally have electricity? How many hours of electricity you have? That's also very interesting. Let's look into this one. 18. Sum of 18. What do you think? Quite big.
Yes, sir.
Actually, quite. This is 2016. So remember this. This is 2016, 18 hours. Okay? Available, but at the same time, remember 0 hours is also there, which means some people do not have electricity. And remember, this is 33,000. So 46,000 out of 33,000. Large number without electricity, right or wrong?
Yes, sir. So maximum so 32.
So এটা কিভাবে হলো 32?
Huh?
So it monthly data cost 32 maximum without electricity.
This one.
No,
This
sir.
is 30. Yeah, this is, oh, that's a question. That's a question. So maybe an NTR also. What was the question? how many hours in a day. So this 32 must be a mistake. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let me see whether if I drop anything above, that's what the data correction means. Okay, so a lot of time we do the data correction. We said, okay, we get the data, but we would be careful about interpreting data. We check the data. So for example, if I say I want anything, if this one is less than equal to 24. That's also 18. So how many dropped? Only one. See? So
Yes.
one that wrong data entry. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So see, so we can check always. So, okay, I can check, and that's what this. So remember, I'm using stata commands, and I'm saying, look, I can actually use commands to actually come up with. That's what I want you to start handling it. Okay. So remember, this is I'm showing some examples for so that you remember this. Okay, I can actually do this. And in stata, if you want to do something, go to Google and ask Google. Google will provide you a lot of help. I also learned from Google. So it's not that I went to a class and understood this. How many have laptops or tablet in their house? How many use internet? Remember, this is to 2016, so a lot of much less. How does your household members okay? How does your household members most often access internet? Is it using mobile? No. What is the percent occupancy status? Okay, the present occupancy status, which means whether your house is rented, owned, or rent free. If you want to buy or construct a dwelling, just like what is the net worth? So they're asking certain questions. There are some value judgment, but on average, statistically, it will be okay. That's what I mean. Is it a slum house? So they are asking that. All these are important. So actually, you can actually get slums people out of it and say, okay, I can just analyze slums. That's also possible. These are the shocks, and I told you these are very interesting. So I have shocks like drought, flood, landslide, pest, livestock disease, agriculture price shock, agriculture output high price or low price. Remember, both low price and high price shock. Reduction in earnings of currently off-farm employment, job loss of job, illness and accident of earner member or somebody else. So remember, a lot of time accident can significantly affect welfare of a house. Death of an income earner, death of a household member, theft, conflict or violence, fire and tornado. I don't like this one. Fire, tornado, earthquake together, and others. But see, it includes both financial, economic, as well as natural losses. And you can find out that this module provides a lot of information on which month it was affected. So you can actually find out which month it was the household was affected. That's possible. You can also find out if it is yes, which month. That's a very interesting information. You can find out what kind of shock appears when, on average, in Bangladesh. Okay, how long it lasted? So whether it's a flood or something. Okay, that's what it is. Then it is it as a result of the shock, was there a decline in your household income, asset, food production, food purchase? So remember, all this information is available. And then how did your business cope with it? So they have coping strategies, coding. Then they have agriculture. So on agriculture, they said how much is your land, how much is your own land. This is total dwelling and homestead land. This is agricultural land, this is homestead land, this is cultivable land, this is total rented shared crop, and this is crop shared rented out, and this is the total operating land. So they're collecting this, and then they are asking which crop. Remember the crop. How did you cultivate? What is your production? What is your sales? What are the wages, feed? So remember all these questions they're asking. Full agriculture income they're asking. Somebody wants to do work on agriculture, use data set. So this is another set of information. I'm skipping it. Then they have a livestock. Now realize what they did not give. This gives you the total income, total revenue, not net. So you have to subtract the expenditure. This is the 7, which is livestock. And they have all these different kinds: cattle, goat, sheep, buffalo, chicken, duck, pigeon, domestic bird, and others. So there are many different kind of information is available. And then they have the question on fish. Same thing. So the question of fish, I'm skipping it. This is important because agriculture. Remember, the revenue is there, expenditure is here in 7. So you have to merge these in order to actually come up with your net agricultural income. Okay. In the other module, non-farm business, they have calculated right there. In this one, they did not calculate because the same cow or same plow is used for plowing many products. Sodium urea, you bought it for agricultural land as well as used for fisheries or cow fattening. That's why they have agriculture input as separate, and they said, okay, you have to add all of them and subtract the expenditure, all different kind of expenditure to get the total agriculture. Then this is the agriculture asset. What kind of, how many families have tractors, threshers, power tillers, pumps? So there are a lot of questions you can ask yourself, that who buys power tiller, right? And they have also information what do they do with this power tiller. So in fact, these are significant amount of resources for people to research on even business opportunities related to agriculture. Other asset income, property, gold, everything is here. And then they have the question 8, which is income from, this is also other income. In kind, they have what other investment you do. So all these. And then this, after all, they have more. So this is about migration. Remember migration. If a person is migrated, who is migrated, how many years, when did he migrate, where he is working, which country. So you can find out which people have gone to which country. The countries are all there. If in country, which zilla, maybe in migration within Bangladesh, outside Bangladesh. If abroad, what is the country code? Age, sex, education, occupation, they have the code again. Occupational code is available, all of them. These are the country codes. So everything is available except industry code, which is not available. But all of them are available. How many times you spend money in the last 2 years? Why they ask 2 years? Because some people cannot spend money on the first year. So they decided that maybe I should ask the 2 years. That will give you a better idea. Okay. Some people spend every, so this is what they are asking. Total amount of money, what is the money you send? This is how in your household, spend your household. So this is expenditure. What do you do with this money? So remember all this. Then you have, how did you spend remittance? How did you spend the remittance? Where did you spend? Invest. So they have the code. Construction of house. Remember what people do with their money. A lot of questions people have, and I have seen people coming up with bizarre numbers that does not make sense. Because again, electricity is gone. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So anyway, electricity is gone. So this is other income of the household. After all this includes microfinance. Where did you get your financing? Private commercial bank, public commercial bank, Krishi bank, cooperative bank, basic bank, youth development, Grameen bank, BRAC, BRDB, Asha, Prashika, all of them. Money, landlord, who gave you the money? People have all these again questions that, oh, this is how it's financed. Answer is nationally represented data no one has except this one. Then this one is payment. How did you pay your interest? Daily, monthly? What is your installment? What was the purpose of the loan? That's also given. They collected all this information by household. So remember, it is and this one, for example, consumption. So I put the coding here just to make sure that. So what they said, how many less than 10 years, 10 years or older? Why? Because the food habit is different. Now they're asking daily consumption. So each data is available in different code. This is more difficult. That's what I put. And they say rice, fine rice. What percentage you people use fine rice? What is the gram? How much gram? What is the taka? What is the source you buy from the market? So these are the questions. They have hundreds of them. 14 days they collect this information. This is the part they ask for, again, daily consumption. Dairy, sweet meat, oil, fat, everything is there. Then they have a question of weekly consumption, first 7 days, which means during 1 to 7 days, and they have 8 to 14 days, twice they have collected. Okay, this is 8 to 14 days, same question. So this is where it have Ada Mori Jira. This is the chiwoods, betel leaf, remember all this. কত মানুষ পান খায় তোমাদের কি মনে হয় কত লোক পান খায় So see, and who are, what is their age group? Interesting questions. Question number 9, monthly non-food expenditure. So non-food expenditure, fuel, cosmetic, hygiene, washing, cleaning, how much money people spend. Okay. This is consumption, monthly non-food expenditure. Okay, again, continuously. This is still going. This is the garments, ready-made garments, means clothing. This is the other tailoring materials, footwear. This is textile. This is household-related expenditure, medical treatment expenditure. Again, it is there. So we have twice the same question asked. Average. This is on average monthly. That one is exactly specific expenditure on medical. This is about non-food expenditure, education. That one is already per person specific. This is on average. Okay. Remittance. Remember remittance we asked. Again we asked the remittance. And other ceremonial. How what percent of people give zakat? Who are the people giving zakat? Not only that, how many people goes to cinema, theaters? Remember all this information they have collected. Not that everything is large data set. But this is nationally representative that collected this data. Then you have also another, again, this is income tax, cooking equipment, personal articles, and miscellaneous. So all this, including insurance, not much data on insurance, if I remember. Then they have assets, inventories. What is the asset you have? What people have? Motorcycles, bicycles. Remember all this information. Okay, if you, whether you are richer than others, just compare this, and that gives you more or less. And this is the household roster. Remember household roster? This is the roster where we asked what is the name of the person, what is the sex. So this is information which we use to match everything. So this is section 1, part A. Now why this is separate? Unless you see physically, you don't understand this. This is like an extra page that goes outside the normal book. So that's what this is, like a flap. Okay, that's what it is. Clear? HIS data set?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let me stop my presentation. How do I stop my presentation? Somewhere I have to stop. Okay. Stop. Okay, so basically what I thought to do, I showed it. I'm going to give you an assignment. Specific things to collect from the data. Which means in doing so, you will be able to say, question yourself, how do I do this? How do I match one file to the other? Few things I would like to show before I conclude today. Let me present again. Sorry. Screen. Let me present again. So if you go to Stata and want to do something, always remember 2 commands. One is called merge. So if you say help merge, that's a merge command. Merge command means I want to merge two files. Okay, and you should be able to understand from Stata, since you all know Stata, and at the bottom there is always example. And if you have a problem, so let me show you a simple merging. This is the file I want to merge with the original X section A. Okay, so I said okay, merge. So remember, we have to think about the file. Original file section A, if you remember, was a 46,000 data. This file, if you remember now, has also 46,000 data. So both of them are household data. So I want to merge them. Because why I want to merge them? Because if I want to merge, I don't know which district they are from, whether it's an urban or rural. So I want to know them. And one of the variables that I know common to both of them is this one, household. So what I do, I go to the data file here. This is how you have to learn how to do this. So if I go to second merge, help merge, I realize that it says merge 1:1, which means both file has the same exactly number of data, or there is no repetitions. Then the variable list, and then the using the file number. And there are options. If you want to do the option, there are different options. So forget about it for now. You can, so I said merge 1:1, which means both file has similar data set. There is no repetition. And then I say household, means this is the ID that will match. Then I say using, and then I should give the file name. And the file name I should give is within quotation, and I should know the file name. So what do? To go to the file name, I go there and I say the file name is this one. Okay, so this is the file name. So best way to do it is to get to the, how do I do this? So it is HH section A. That's the file name. Okay, so that's it. Okay, this is HH section A. DTA, remember that's how the extension of the, if I do this, it will not work. So it has messed. They said I have messed. And they said I give you the matching formula. So they have messed. What is the matching? They said, see, now I know which district they are coming from. So they mess, and the last one is important. What is the last one? Match 3 means exact match. Okay, so if I say I want to sort them, just to make sure that we understand whether there is any unmatched data. That's the reason. Okay, we see. The best idea is to actually go without looking at it. We can go there and say, okay, go here and say tab, and the variable name is merge, which means exact match, nothing unmatched. So now I know exactly where they're from. So merge command is a fantastic command. Now there are cases when you have to merge 46,000 with 120,000, which means it is M1:M or M1, depending on which one is in your hand. Learn this. The second command is called collapse. Help collapse. Collapse is a command that in a way collapse the files. So for example, I have 122,000 data and I want to make it, so then you see collapse. And again, if they collapse, if you go to the bottom, there is always, so collapse, I can collapse as a percentage, right? I can collapse as a count. I can collapse as a minimum. So for example, count means how many people are in this GPA. Whereas minimum means what is the minimum GPA in the household. Maximum means what is the maximum GPA in the household. And mean GPA equal to GPA means from the, remember there are 4 person has GPA, let's assume in example. From this 4 person, what is the minimum? So within the household, what is the minimum? Or what is the maximum? Minimum hours of study. And then you can do it collapse by what? In this case by household. Means I want to collapse it by household. So this is how it works. And while you are doing with large data set, these 2 commands are very important commands. These 2 commands does 2 things. One, merging. So let's give an example of collapse. So better example of collapse is, let's not save the file. I don't want to contaminate it. So let's go to section A, where I know that if I look into the data, this data is 186,000. So 46,000 people have, and I want to know from here how many male, how many female in the household. So see, I want looking for this. How do I do it? I know from this household, if I understand, if I look into this household, remember this is all 100, there are 2 male, 2 female. That I understand. This would be religion. So how do I bring this? I want to collapse it. So the idea is, now I go to the collapse command and I said, okay, collapse. And I would like to count. If I say count, I want to count this one. When I count this one, that means how many people in the household. Then I say male, this is male, equals to, well, I cannot do this. I need to collapse in many different ways. So let's take this one. And then I say average, mean, which is religion. I'm just giving you the logic. Why mean religion? Because average of Islam is average, same. And let's look into the maximum age and minimum age. So then I say maximum, max age equals this one. And I say minimum, which means I'm looking for minimum wage, which is again this one. Mean age is this one, equals this one. And I say by household. So remember, what am I doing? I am trying to find certain information. So if I do this and hit return, it will do the collapse. So it's actually collected this. So if I look into the data, it says 101 has 4%. Second command was age 4, which was mean of the religion, which means 1 is Islam, remember the code. Maximum age is 46, minimum age is 12 in that household. In this household, for example, household number 100,023, 6 people, same Muslim, highest 42, lowest 1. So I have this information, and then I can say, oh, I can keep this information in a separate file. Why am I saying it? Because this creates a characteristics of the house. This is a characteristic of the house. What is the characteristic of the house? What religion they have? How many household members? What is their maximum age? What is their minimum age? This kind of a question that tomar badite in your house, How many members? See, we found out. And now if I say, okay, I would like to know, take an example again, and let's say, okay, I got this. Now I want to say tab, and I say tab this one. Oh, this one is not this one. Tab. Yeah, tab this one. What is this one? Mean. What was the mean? Mean was age. Is it age? What was the mean? 404. 04, I have to double check. 04.
So religion, sir.
Huh?
Religion there is for the
That means our data entry losses should be exactly same. It should not be more than. So there are entry errors, which means one household member has 1, and another household given a code different, which means this collapse was not a fair collapse. Why? Because the data had a problem. Now remember, it's a lot of data, so I cannot check which one is a problem or not. But what is important is, see, 1 Muslim is 39. These data are wrong. 2 is 45. 3 is this 1100. 4 is, so remember, all the decimals are wrong data. Am I clear on this one? So we can eliminate this. How do I eliminate this? Let's go back and say, let me keep this on my memory, this command, so that I can use this command again. Okay, so let me go back and say, no, I want to get to the same data set again. So this one, same data set. And I want to look into this, but instead of mean, I say it first. That's it. What is the difference between mean and first? First means first number. Don't worry about who is the second one. Okay, and then I say tab, and I say 4 again. Now it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 87% of the people in the survey are Muslim. 9.9, about 10% are Hindu. Remember, these are why we say these are nationally representative. Okay, so this is how the data is randomized data, but the way it has been designed, it gives you the characteristics of the country. Okay, and then if you said, okay, what is the maximum age? So if I say, now look at the household size, tab household size, which is this one. Oh, even 20 people have some household. So now you realize this is the maximum, but some household, remember, household is not family size. Some house member has other members. So they have even 20, one household, 17, one household. So some household, take this one, 3 household has more than 15 in the data set. These are extreme values, but these are the characteristics of the household, still in Bangladesh. So my point is, if you remember the, let me stop the presentation. If you remember the how to handle the data, this is a very good way of using large data. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think I will stop here today. For now, no electricity, or the time is also very good. Okay, so I will stop here, and I will give you an assignment where you need to merge few files and come up with an answer, and you have to submit it. Now I know you will help each other, I don't mind, but if you don't learn from this assignment how to do it in the exam, I will also give you starter question. Okay, so if my objective is not to trick you. My objective is make sure that you learn the commands and use it yourself. Okay, you can take help from internet, Stata, wherever you are. Nothing wrong. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sir, Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.